Hello guys, how are you all? Good evening to all. How are you all? Hello, hello, hello. So can I get a quick confirmation that am I clearly audible and am I like clearly visible? Hello guys, good evening to all. Okay, cool. Good evening guys. So today is basically the last day. So what we'll be going to do, we'll be basically just going to cover one project over here. So a basic project right now, I'm basically showing you from a very basic, we are learning these things. So all the things that we have seen till now, all the things we'll be going to implement in today's session, and maybe some other things I'll be just going to teach you. Okay. And don't worry about this thing, guys. The notes that is already been uploaded in the description. So just go in the description and over there you'll be just going to say Pratik Kumar, just see this is basically a demo data set that we'll be going to use. So this is our Titanic data set that we are going to use. So project doesn't depend on the data set basically. It's all about the technique that we'll be going to use inside it. Yes, this is the Titanic data set. So what we'll be basically going to do over here, the techniques that I'll be going to show you, pick any kind of a data set. I'll be just going to guide you that how you can basically even get a data set over here. Yeah, this is from Kaggle only. So from the Kaggle, we have basically picked up these things. But if you want, you can basically even get some hackathons data set that is basically available online. So you can just go for Machine X or something like that. You can basically participate over there. Let us just say I have machine hack. Okay, so just go over here. So over here you will be able to see there are like multiple hackathons are basically there. So let us just go over here and look into the this thing. Machine as AI hackathons. Just click over here in the AI hackathons and you'll be able to see, okay, multiple these things are basically there. How to detect AI generated content. These things is basically there. And let us just say predict the price of basically book. So these are the things that you can basically do over here. This is full screen. Guys, whenever you are joining a session, a live session, always try to join it from your laptop so you'll be easily able to see these things. So let me just do one thing. I'll be just going to zoom it in little bit so you guys will be able to see it. Okay, cool. Now I think this much of zoom is enough. So what we'll be going to do, guys, first of all, we'll be just simply going to connect it and we'll be just going to upload a data set over here. So today I basically have two CSVs. The first one is basically going to be for the training purpose. The second one is basically going to be for the testing purpose. That first we'll be going to train our model, and after that what we'll be going to do, we'll be simply going to test it. This is what we'll be going to do. Okay, so train and test CSV I have is uploaded over here. I'll be simply going to copy the path. I'll be simply going to close this one, and after that I'll be just going to mention the path over here like this. And let us just say what we are basically doing over here. We are importing pandas. We are importing Seaborn library for the visualization purpose. We are basically importing matplotlib. We are importing sklearn, each and everything from sklearn. If I have mentioned star, that means whatever thing is basically there from model selection that I'll be going to upload or import over here. From sklearn.matrix import star, that means all matrices I'm doing this thing, importing for now with respect to regression, with respect to classification. Okay, so over here you just don't have to mention it again and again that you basically want to use this one. And I'm simply basically using a warning just to simply ignore the warning. Let us just say whenever you are running some kind of a code, it just used to print something that don't do this thing or use this thing instead of this thing. So that kind of a warning, we are not interested. So I'll be simply going to execute it at that time. Okay, so let's just wait till it is basically getting executed. So now you'll be basically able to see one thing, that we are basically reading a CSV using pd.read CSV, and we are basically storing it in a train data. All right, if I'll be just going to do train.head, just tell me guys what train.tail will do. What do you think if I'll do train dataset dot train underscore data dot tail? What do you think what it will do? Pratik, just see a useless warning it used to give. It's not like the warning are really important. That's why. If you want, you can remove the code also. It will not going to impact your result or the training process. Okay, right, guys. Last data, it will be going to show you the last 5 rows. Okay, now. So this is the data set that I have, like passenger ID, I have survival, I have P class, like in which class a particular person is traveling. So we just have to predict if in which class, let us just say eight, you can just consider it like in one class they are, or maybe in three class, maybe in two class it is. Okay, so whether the person will be able to survive or not. So zero basically means that the person will die in Titanic crash, or one basically means the person will basically survive. We have gender, we have age. Okay, and like multiple columns are basically there, like fear is basically there, that if they are from three class, the fear is very cheap, but if someone is from the first class, the fear is very high. Okay, now, so what I will be basically going to do, if I'll be just simply going to check the n unique numbers, what this will going to do, if I have basically passenger ID, so it will basically going to check what are the unique, let us just say first, let us just check the shape of the data set. Terrain underscore data dot size. Size or shape? Okay, shape is there. So that is 891 comma 12. That means this much of rows we have and 12 columns we have. So just see this thing. Passenger ID, if we have, that means passenger ID will going to be unique for each and every passenger. Right? Survival, only two classes we have. This is our independent column, and all of these are our dependent columns. Sorry, this is basically a dependent column, and rest of the columns are independent columns. All right. Now name is also unique, right? Gender we have only two, that is male and female. Okay. Age 88, unique ages is basically there, right? Now let us just say if you just wanted to know that what are basically the columns are, let us say I have 12 columns, you are just interested in the 12 column names. So what you can do, you can simply do train data dot columns. So it will going to print you all the columns. Let us just say we have passenger ID, survival, we have P class, the name, sex, age, and like these columns are also there. Now I wanted to find out one thing. Let us just tell me one thing, guys. This survival column you will be able to see. So this is in what do you think? Is it an integer or is it an object? What data type it is? What do you think? Is it an integer or is it an object? Int, right? This is an int. But what object? No, Praveen, this is not object. Object is basically always like name. Let us just say we have gender. Okay, male, female is there. So this is object. Yeah. So this is, now let us just tell me what data type this age is. What data type this age is, guys? Float, right, guys. This is float. Very good. So just see, if I'll be just going to check the information about each and every column, I just have to do the variable name in which I have stored my CSV and dot info. Now let us just say survival is basically a int. All right. Name is object and gender is object. Then age float is basically there. So each and everything is basically good over here, right? Each and everything is right. The data format is basically right. But let us just see if we have a survival. Okay, and survival is being written like this thing. Okay, now we are just considering this scenario. Okay, let's just say if I'll be going to check the information, and now if it is saying that survival is basically a object. Object basically means, let us just say this is your int. But what if someone will going to mention it like this? So it will going to show you that this is the object. So if someone has did some kind of a mistake, so we basically used to do data train.info, train data.info, just to check whether each and every column is being assigned in a proper D type or not. So if we have to, if it is like this, if it is in an object and we have to convert it into a int type, so what we will be simply going to do, as type, and over here it should be int. Okay, so now if I just again print the same thing, so just see, it is now saying survival is int. Okay, now after that, what we basically have, we are just checking the shape of it. I told you that the first index always shows, first index always basically shows the rows, the second index always shows the column. So you can like even print like this, like print total number of rows let us just add this sign also. Just see this, so this much of rows we have and this much of columns we have. So a better understanding we are getting, if someone will basically going to look into my code, they will be easily able to get this kind of understanding. Yes, right. Abhidhan Rajan, really a good question you have basically asked. So what we'll be going to do, even when we'll be going to read our test data set, at that time we'll be even going to check these things. So for that, what we used to do, we basically used to create a whole pipeline for it. And whenever we have any kind of a CSV, whether it is train, whether it is test, we just pass it to that particular pipeline. You can basically consider one function. Raji Guru, in the yesterday session, I have even shown you if you have attended it. But today also a little bit, this thing I'll be just going to show you, okay? Now. Okay. Now we are basically checking one thing, that what is basically the percentage that we basically have in a none value. Let us just say I'll be just going to check train data dot is na dot sum. So over here we will be just simply going to check, like in age we have this much of missing values, and in cabin we have this much of missing values. So just tell me guys, if we have a missing value, age is basically there, right? It has missing values. So what do you think? How we'll be going to deal with the missing values? First tell me this thing. And Rajiguru, one thing is there, the thing that we are doing dot head, dot size, dot info, this is also an analysis only. How you will be going to deal with this particular value? Okay, n is there, right? But are you going to drop it? Are you going to fill it? Yes. How you will, what approach you will be going to use? My question is, what approach you guys will going to use? Have you ever heard of, yes, but what mean median mode? What you will be going to use? Have you ever heard of mean median mode, that we can fill missing values with the help of mean median mode? Yes or no, guys? Can I get a quick confirmation in the chat? Me. Okay. Just tell me now one thing, guys. What do you think? If we'll be going to, if we'll be going to fill the missing values with the mean age, okay, mean age. Let us say mean first I'll be going to calculate. So let's just say train data age dot mean. So this is the mean age with respect to both the gender, male and female. What if you just have to calculate? Can I say if there is a missing value, like male is there, sex is male, but age is missing. So we should fill the missing value according to the mean age of males only. Because right now this is the mean age of both male and female. And if there is a missing value of female, we should only fill the missing value with respect to the average age of female. Are you guys able to understand it or not? Yes or no, guys? Yes or no? Quickly. We have to discuss a lot of things. Quickly, just tell me yes or no in the chat. Are you guys able to understand what I'm saying? But we are filling it. Look, Priyanka, either we can basically drop these values. Okay, but if you have to fill it, you have to pick up one approach. So for the age, if there is a continuous value, we always used to go with mean. But if you are using a mean, yes, obviously the actual rate of person is 44. But obviously that will be going to wrong. But there are missing values. Data is basically unique. Okay, data is basically very important. So we always try to not to lose the data, because if we'll be simply going to drop the data, at that time we'll be losing it. So we always try how we can handle this kind of a data without dropping the rows. This is the scenario that you can pick. Obviously it can be wrong, but we have to keep the data. So what is the generalized approach that we can use over here for filling the missing values? This is what we are this is what we are discussing for now. All right, understood, guys? Okay, now just see this thing. What if, are you guys able to understand this thing? What I was saying, that we should like consider mean age of male and mean age of female also. Guys, can I get a confirmation, please? So I will move forward. Okay, no problem. So what initially you can do, try it from your own. How do we call group by? Just let me just search over here. Okay. Like this, should we do it, or how we should do it? Is it like this? Okay, just give me 1 second. Hmm. Okay. Dot group by we are basically using over here. Group by is there, right? This is also right. I think, okay, the back method object is not. Okay, now it is basically doing this thing. Dot me. Okay, so just see now the female age, average age is basically 27 and the male average age is basically 30. So on the basis of these things, we'll be going to fill it. Cool. Now, after that, again, okay, this is the thing that we have already discussed. Okay, so over here it is basically showing the percentage. This line of a code is basically showing the percentage that 77% values are missing. If you'll be going to compare that my data set length is 100%, but 77% of the data is missing from here. And age is basically also missing 90% value. So just see one thing. If in cabin 77% data is basically missing, so there is no point of considering this particular column. So what we'll be going to do, we'll be simply going to drop this column in future because just the 77 values are missing. Only 23 values, 23% of the values are correct. So we cannot just fill the 77% of value on the basis of 23%. That will going to be wrong. Okay, and we will be going to provide a wrong data set over here. Value count is different. It only tells you the count. Okay, not the, we are calculating the age over here. Okay, just see train data age dot value counts. Okay, just see with respect to 24 age how many people are there, with respect to 22 age how many people are there, like this it will going to consider it. Okay, now what if I have to find the missing value with respect to the full data set, total missing values? So that is going to be 866. Total missing values are 866, like 177. If you'll be just going to calculate it, 177 plus 687 plus 2, that is going to be 866. And this is over here, you are just describing your data set. Let's just say age is there. So total unique age is 714, like the count that we basically have. The mean age is this thing. The standard deviation is 14. That means the difference between one age to another age is basically 14. The minimum age that we have, that is 0.42. So obviously this is the wrong data set. Okay, just see the minimum age. Can a minimum age be 0.42? That means this is the wrong thing. Over here it is telling us that 25% of the people who are basically traveling here have an age of 20, and 50% of people have the age of 28. And if I just consider 75% of people, they have a age of average age of 38. And the maximum age of a person who is traveling, that is 80. Now let us just say if you want to find out who this person is who is having this much of age, so what you can basically do, you can simply do train data, then age is equal to 80. So just see at index 630 we have a passenger ID 631. He was able to survive. The P class is 1. The name is this thing. He is a male, age is 80, and this thing is there. So like this you can filter out the values. Understood now, guys? Okay, so over here we are just calculating like survival. What is the sum of survival? All right, like how many people was able to survive? So that is 342 out of 800 or something. Only this one. Just give me 1 second, guys. Really sorry guys. So what we'll be going to do is train data.survival.sum. So this is the like survival this thing. Train data.survive.count is basically there. So like total number is basically 891. So out of 891, how many was able to survive? That is 341. And what we are doing, this is again an analysis, guys. Analysis is not always about plotting a graph, doing something. This is again an analysis that you will be going to tell your manager or maybe the client that this is what your data is basically saying. Okay, so if I just have to find how many people was not able to survive, so that is going to be total minus survival one. So 549 people was not able to survive. Now the same thing if I basically have to draw over here, so that is going to be sns.count plot. You just have to pass these things, that what is your data, that is train data. What you want to plot, that is survival column. If I just show you this thing, train data dot had one. So these are the columns that we have, right? So we have to do, we want to see survival. Okay. And if you'll be just going to remove this thing, that will even going to work, because this is not necessary. So just see this thing. This is 0 and this is 1. From a diagram, from this particular figure, can you able to see which class having more count? 0. 0 basically means that people was not able to survive. Clear till now? Guys, can I get a thumbs up? Can I get like some kind of a confirmation that do you guys have any kind of a confusion till now or not? Okay, cool. No, Harsha, like, are you not able to understand? Do you have any doubts? So please ask me. Okay, cool. You got it. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, cool. So after that, what we'll be going to do? Again, we'll be basically going to do something. Let's just remove this thing because it is just creating a confusion and these things are basically not even important. So let's just draw it first, then we'll be going to see it. So what we are analyzing right now is with respect to the gender, how many people was able to survive and not. So blue is male, orange is female, because we know like when this Titanic thing was basically happening, first there was like they have shifted women to the boats and all, right? So just see in the survival one, which gender is having more count? You guys tell me. Okay, because you guys are like going to be data scientists. So you guys tell me, what are you able to understand from this particular diagram? Yes, yes, Abhidha, Rajan, you are right. Like female, there was more amount, the count of females are basically more as compared to male. Now, what is your understanding over here? I just wanted to know this thing. From this particular diagram, what is your understanding? What all things, two to three pointers you are able to understand, or something else is there? Only one thing. Okay. Okay, Abhidullah, you are like right, but guys, are you going to type something in the chat or not? That what is your understanding? Yes, male died more. Right. Okay, cool. So what we have did, sns.count plot we are doing, data we are passing, X is survival, same code that we have over here, but the only thing is hue. Hue is like whenever you want to, like hue is basically that will going to create a separation. So whenever you have a scenario like this, a gender is there or maybe a class will be there. Like which class, let us just say which thing have less count. let's just say P class is there. So in the P class also we can do the same thing. P class. Just see. So class 1, class 2, class 3 is there. Class 3 is basically the this thing, the expensive one. So the people who survived, these are like almost equal, but class 1, more people from class 1 was able to survive. Understood, guys? Okay. Now, what we'll be going to check, just see, in this thing, in machine learning, there is one this thing that is known as outlier. Now, what is basically that? Let us just say if the maximum age can be, I can consider 100, but let us just say a person who was writing these things manually, he or she mistakenly entered, instead of like 50 age, he or she basically has entered 500, just one more extra zero they have added. So this is going to be a wrong data set. Okay, these are basically your outliers. Okay, so we used to plot this kind of a box. Okay, like sns.box plot. P is equal to p, x is equal to p class. That means in the x axis there should be p class, and in the y there should be age. So according to the P class, it is showing that these are the outliers. Okay, apart from this box, this is circles that you will be able to see, these are your outliers. And it is even saying there are some age which is even less than this thing 5. There might be kids or something like that. Okay. Yeah. So this is your box plot that we are using for identifying whether there are outliers or not. Because if you are working as an analyst or maybe a data scientist, your manager will going to ask you, okay, just go do one thing, just go and check whether there are outliers or not. If there are outliers, in which column outliers are basically there. So this thing you will be just going to check. Cool. Now, after that, what we are basically doing? Okay, again the same thing, P class that I have shown you. The same thing is also basically here. Now sns.kd plot is basically there. So over here it is just showing the distribution of people who have survived in Titanic. So just see this thing, like this is the survived one. So like this is the percentage of people who have basically survived. The average, this thing you can basically calculate from here. Now, what we'll be going to do? Simply we'll be going to do a value count of gender, which is going to be male are this much, female are basically this much. Okay. Now, over here we are just doing again an analysis that woman train data dot log, that is like location, train data dot sex is equal to female. Now we are just calculating the percentage of women who survived. Okay, so that is like if 100 women are traveling, there are chances that 75 or 74 women will be able to survive in Titanic. Okay, so this is a good amount. This is also outlier, no? Outlier can be there in your data set. You just have to check it. Okay, now surviving chance of man, let us just check. So that is only 18%, guys. If you are a man, okay, and you'll be going to travel in Titanic. Maybe if this is the scenario, so there will be only 19% chances that you will be going to survive. All right. Now, all right. This is like a correlation is basically there. I think we are using a correlation also over here, or maybe not. Okay. SNS.heat map. Train data dot core. Is it only core is there? Like Okay, so first we have to like convert it into numerical values. So just do one thing first of all, num values is equal to train data dot select the type. So that is going to be exclude object. So if I'll be just going to pass this num value dot core. Now just see how many of you are aware about correlation, guys? Can I get a confirmation in chat? Correlation basically shows, let us just say, if I consider two things, petrol price and year, or let us just say gas price. As year is also increasing, the gas prices are also increasing, whether it's petrol, diesel, or maybe CNG. So similarly, in machine learning, this is really a good concept that we have to consider one thing, that if, yes, positive, negative, right, guys, right. So if a particular column is there, so whether it is having a positive correlation or not with respect to other columns. So let us just say if we have some columns, let us just say over here this SIB SP is there and parch is basically there, these are having 0.41 correlation, so that is a good correlation. But if someone is having a very low correlation, let us just say like 0.960, 0.096, so that is a bad correlation. That means this column is not contributing anything over here. So we check these things for now. Okay. Then after that, just see, we have this thing. Okay. We basically have this thing replacing all none values in the age. You was able to see that there are basically missing values. So what we have basically did, we are basically just doing some one thing that we like, just give me 1 second. Maybe I can simplify this code for you guys. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Okay, so what we'll be going to do over here, like column 0 will be basically going to pick and 1, that is the age, and this one. And after that, we are basically checking that if P class is equal to 1 and there is a missing value, right? So what we'll be going to do, according to the class, now we are filling the missing values. If you basically want to check it with the help of trained data set, that what it will be the value, train data P class, sorry, dot group by P class is there, and after that I basically have age, and I am basically calculating median of it. You can follow any approach, guys, over here. You can basically follow any approach over here. Mean, median, mode, that is up to you. Over here I'm just showing you that these are even the way that you can do it. Now in the future it is totally up to you what you want to do. So in the P class 1, the average, the median age was 37, 29, and 24. If you'll be going to go with mean, so it will going to look like this. Okay, so instead of median, I'll be just going to use mean over here, and I'll be going to execute it according to the class. We'll be just going to do this thing. Now what we'll be going to do, as you'll be able to see that if I'll be just going to show you the data set, train data dot had to. So the this thing, the sex is basically male and female. So for sure, my column will not going to, my data, my model will not going to understand these object things. So we have to convert it into numerical values. So for that, we are doing this thing, where we are like converting female to 0, male to 1, and class S, C, and Q like this. Okay, and this is basically nothing but your this thing. Okay, where we have like data type is equal to train. If it is a train data set, then make this kind of a changes. All right, and if it is a else, if it is a like a test data set, okay, then make this kind of a changes. Okay, now let us just do this thing. Now let us just check after that how my X data will going to look like and Y data will going to look like. So we have P class, we have gender, we have age. Okay, over here we have just normalized the values. Okay, over here just see this thing. In the age column, what we have basically did, we have simply normalized these things in the age one. Okay, so this is how my training, like these are my independent columns, and Y data will basically going to be my train column. That is going to be dependent one, that is 0 1 1 0, like this. So on the basis of this thing, my model have to predict whether someone will going to survive or not. Understood till now, guys? But I think we have not considered cabin, right? Just see, cabin we have not considered. Okay, cool. Like I'm not able to understand, Angelo, like what you are saying over here, models in a document so that we can practice it near. I already told you like sklearn library is there, that is the official documentation. You can simply use that one. No? Okay, now train data.head, this is how it will look like. Now what we are doing, we are like importing train test split. Now first do this thing, x data, we have x data dot shape. How many rows we have for now? 8, 8, 9. Now what we are doing over here, we have mentioned for the test data, we will going to consider 20% of it. 20% of the data we will be going to consider. Okay, random state is basically nothing, but it is just a shuffling purpose. Okay, now, so let us just execute it. And now let us just look into the training data set, that how much data we are sending in a training. My actual rows was 889, but we are sending 711 rows in the training. Okay, and for the testing, how many rows we have considered? We basically have considered 178 rows. All right, cool guys. Now what we are doing, just see, logistic regression, a model is there that we are using, and we are calling model is equal to logistic regression, and we are just doing model dot fit my training data. In fit we call training data, and in prediction what we are doing, after doing this model dot predict the test data that we have taken over here. And now if you'll be just going to check the prediction, it will be going to look like this. Okay, and if I just show you how was my this thing, how was my actual values was, like this is the predicted, but the actual values was this many, uh, like this. So now we will be simply going to check that what is the accuracy with respect to it and what kind of a this thing it has did. So this is your test data set again, guys. Just see the test we basically have. So test will be simply going to pass over here, test. Okay, so this is how your test data will going to look like. Now we'll be going to do the prediction over here. So what we'll be basically going to do, from sklearn.matrices import classification report, from sklearn.matrices import accuracy score. So classification report will be simply going to call over here, and it will be Y test data and prediction. So over here you will be able to see that this is basically the result, precision, recall, F1 score, and the accuracy is 81%. Okay. Clear till now? If you'll be just going to print the accuracy, so you will be able to see it like this. It is 81% for now. And in place of logistic regression, like over here we have used, you can use random forest, XGBoost, you can basically use in place of this thing. Now guys, just tell me what kind of a confusion you guys have. Encoding we have did. Encoding we have did. Just see, manually we have did it over here. Just see, this is what, this is encoding only. But if you want, instead of these things, you can import label encoder, one-hot encoder, or anything. And feature selection, we have even did this thing, no? Just see, this correlation is basically there. So we have did the same also over here, right? Same thing we have did. Okay. Any, sir, which method is best for feature selection? Correlation is there, right? Select K best is basically there. Okay, variation inflation ratio or variance inflation ratio is basically there. So that we can basically, you can also use over. Look, these are the modules you'll be going to import over here. That depends on the use case. If you have something in your mind, you can just search it on Google also, no? This is what you can do. Let us just say classification. I can basically say which classification matrices to use to evaluate in machine learning. So you can just go over here for this vlog and it will basically going to give you, okay, what you can basically use. Okay, the code they have not given. So just try to follow another one. Like the matrices name they have given, but not the code. So what you can do in machine learning, code, write code. Now they are saying like accuracy you can use over here, or at confusion matrix you can use. So confusion matrix is there. So just copy this thing and paste over here confusion matrix, scalar. Now if you were just going to open this one documentation, it will going to give you the implementation of it, that how you can do it. So import it like this, confusion matrix, enter your y true and y predicted. This is how you will be going to do it. Yes, you can use ChatGPT also. No, correlation is good. Use correlation. Obviously, from the correlation only, let us just say if there are, okay, just tell me one thing, Abhidhan, Rajan, if there are two columns who are really highly correlated, let us just say 90%, they are having the correlation of 90%. So from like both of them, you will be going to keep one column, right? So at that time, you are doing feature selection. Okay. Guys, do you have any kind of a doubt till now? Yes or no? This thing I'll be just going to share the data set with you and the code also that we have discussed over here. Quickly tell me, guys, do you have any kind of a confusion till now? Priyanka Jain, just see one thing, when to use which model. Always go with tree-based model, like decision tree, random forest, XGBoost, gradient boosting, like this. Okay, sir, but what will we do if the columns are not correlated? You select K best. Multiple feature selection techniques are there. Just go on the internet and search for it. Use VAR. And over there, if you are using basically your this thing, random forest, so at that time it used to give you that which column is contributing more. So from there also you can do the feature selection. Okay. When to use KNN? KNN is basically not a generalized model, guys. One thing is basically there. So I will not suggest you to use KNN, but yes, if you have a small data set and there is no such correlation in it, so you can go with KNN. All right. Anything else apart from this? Okay. So guys, this is it for today's session. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I hope you guys was okay. Any specific tutorial based on your experience, we can go for the beginner or learn Python. Each and every column we have to compare with dependent column, select more correlated column. Yeah, Praveen Mane, you can do this thing. This is also right. Okay. And Priyanka Jain, I can basically suggest you just follow any maybe YouTube video, vlogs, these things you can follow. Try to do more projects. Only at that time you will be going to learn these things. Only at that time you will be able to know these things, that how I can relate it. Okay, just see, Rajan, if you are looking for a job, first thing you should be really good in machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing, plus in Python. Okay, only then the companies will basically consider the fresher. But there are lots of internship that you can try in the starting for 2 to 3 months, and after that you can start applying for the job. So if you are not getting jobs or maybe this thing, start applying for the internship, because over the internship period they'll be going to teach you something, so you'll be easily able to crack a job after that. Okay. Python you have to learn full, because for data analyst it's not about data analyst. The data that you are getting, you even have to clean it. The data you will be going to get from the different sources, you have to write a code for it. Okay, so full Python. Pratik Kumar, if you are into this thing, computer vision, you want to learn, start with convolution neural network. All right, try to cover all the pre-trained model, build neural network like ResNet is there, VG16, VG19, Inception Net, Exception Net, Mobile Net is there. Try to cover these one. All right, try to do projects on image classification, image segmentation, object detection. Try to learn OpenCV also. Okay. Okay, guys. So this is it for today's session. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I hope you guys was able to learn something new. So this is it for today's session, guys. So thank you for joining each and everyone. Bye bye, guys. Good night. Take care.